Hello student, in this video we are going to discuss about pollination and plant reproduction. Here we study parts of plant, type of plant, part of a flower, reproduction in plant, germination and dispersal of seed. Now we are going to discuss about part of a plant. A plant mainly consists of two parts, that is root system and shoot system. Those parts which are under the soil, that is our root system, and which is upper part of the soil, that is our shoot system. The shoot system consists of flower, leaf, stem, fruit, branch, etc. But the root system only consists of root. The upper part of the plant, that is the shoot system, which do the photosynthesis through the leaf, and the root collect water and minerals from the soil. According to their structure and body part, a plant may be divided into two types, that is non-flowering plant and flowering plant. So what is non-flowering plant? Those plant which does not bear flower, that is called non-flowering plant. Example, mushroom. So next is our flowering plant. So what is flowering plant? Those plant which bear flower in their body, that is called flowering plant. Some more example of non-flowering plant are mushroom, dingri mushroom, horsetail, money plant, etc. Here we can see some more example of flowering plant, that is China rose or hibiscus, sunflower, zinnia, mogra, lotus, jasmine, etc. Each all flowering plant have their seed. Some have seed and some don't have their seed. So according to this, we can divide the flower into two types, that is seeded flower and non-seeded flower. I have shortlisted some seeded flower and non-seeded flower for you. So how can we recognize which is seeded flower and which is non-seeded flower? From their structure, which is discussed later in this video. Next is our part of a flower. A flower can be divided into four basic parts. Those are sepal, petal, androecium and gynoecium. In this figure, we can clearly see that the petal, sepal, androecium, gynoecium and pedicel of a flower. Now we are going to briefly discuss about part of a flower. First is our pedicel. A flower is attached to the stem by a stalk is called pedicel. You can see in this figure which one is the pedicel. Second is our sepal. The outermost part of a flower consists of green-like structure called sepal. It protects the flower in its bud stage. In rose flower, you can see which one is sepal. This sepal is not only present in rose flower, but also it's present in all type of flowering plant. The green-like structure, which is initially present in the bud, that is called our sepal. Next is our petals. The bright and color part of the flower is called petal. It contains color pigment, attract the insect which help in pollination. So what is pollination? That is discussed later in this video. We identify a flower by the color and shape of its petal. The petals surrounded and protect the inner part of a flower. In this figure, the yellow color part is the petal of the sunflower. But nowadays, due to genetic engineering, the size, shape and color of petal change day by day. In this figure, you can see the figure of China rose as well as the figure of zinnia flower. The next part of flower is androecium. The male reproductive part of a flower is called androecium. It contains a number of stamens and each stamen has two main parts, that is a thin hair-like long stalk is called filament and the another is called anther. The anther contains the pollen grain of the flower. In this figure, you can clearly see the presence of anther and filament in the flower. The anther produces a powder-like substance called pollen grain. The pollen grain contains the male reproductive cell for reproduction. When you touch a male pumpkin flower, at that time a yellow color substance comes in your hand. This is your pollen grain of this flower. Next is our gynoecium. The female reproductive part of a flower is called pistil or gynoecium. It contains one or more than one female reproductive unit called corpuscles. A corpuscle has three main parts, that is ovary, style and stigma. In this figure, I will show you the corpuscles of a flower. The solen base of a corpuscle is called ovary. It contains ovules. The ovule contains the female reproductive cell for reproduction. The style is a long narrow tube. The disc-like part of a top is called stigma. In this figure, you can see the pumpkin flower where the ovary is present. Hence, from the discussion we clear that the androecium and the gynoecium help the plant to reproduce. In this figure, you can see how a androecium and gynoecium present in a single flower. Some plants have both male flower and female flower, where there is separate androecium and gynoecium are present. But flower like rose, hibiscus have both androecium and gynoecium in the same flower. Flower like papaya and pumpkin have either androecium or gynoecium in a single flower. Such flowers are called monosexual or unisexual flower. In the above figure, you can clearly identify the male flower and female flower of pumpkin. Those flowers which have a swell ovary, that is your female flower, and another is the male flower. In this figure, the flower present of papaya is a male flower. Next is our plant reproduction. Plant reproduction can be divided into two types, that is fertilization and pollination. First we discuss about pollination. Flower does reproduction and produce fruit and seed that we obtain from flower or plant. The transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of corpus is called pollination. In the first figure, we can see that the honey transfer the pollen grain from the anther to the stigma from one flower to another flower of different plant, but the flower is same category. So here we can say that it is cross pollination. If the both flower of same plant, at the time we can say that it is the self pollination. So in comment box tell me which type of pollination occur in this figure by the help of butterfly. So according to the process of pollen grain transfer, the pollination can be divided into two types. Those are self pollination and cross pollination. So what is self pollination? When the pollen grain get transferred from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower or another flower on the same plant, it is called self pollination. Self pollination involves this same plant. So we can say that if a honeybee is sitting on the same flower of same plant and it is go to the another flower of the same plant and transfer the pollen grain, at that time we can say that it is self pollination. The next one is cross pollination. When the pollen grain get transferred from the anther of a one flower to the stigma of flower of another plant of same type is called cross pollination. Cross pollination involves the plant of same type more than one plant. Next we discuss about agent of pollination. Human and animal can transfer from one place to another place, but plant cannot move their place. That's why they require some help from nature to transfer their pollen grain. Here honeybee, wind, water, insect, bird, some animals are also help in transfer of pollen grain. Those who are help in transfer of pollen grain, those are called agent of pollination. Let's take an example. When honeybee and butterfly collect nectar from plant to plant, at that time pollen grain come with them. When this honeybee or butterfly go to the another female flower or male flower, at that time what happens? This pollen grain is transferred from anther to the stigma of the another flower. Here by the help of the honeybee and butterfly, the pollination occur. Here we can say that the honeybee and the butterfly are the agent of pollination. Next is our pollination by wind. Pollination by wind take place mostly grass such as rice, wheat and maize. The pollen grain are very light and dry. They are easily can fly from one place to another place by the help of wind. So here we can say that the wind is the agent of pollination. Like air, water is also help in pollination. So we can say that water is the agent of pollination. Not only water and air, but also so many insect, bird and other animal are also help in pollination. Insects such as butterfly and bee move from one flower to another flower to collect nectar that we have already discussed earlier. So this is also a common method of cross pollination. In different method, pollen grain is transferred from the anther to the stigma. After that, what happens? After the pollination, the ovary is swell up and change into fruit, and the ovule is changed into seed. The sepal, petal and stamen of the flower gradually fall off. The fruit protects the seed and help the dispersal. We know that every seed is inside the fruit. So in comment box tell me which seed is outside the fruit. After the fruit is ripe, the seed is mature and from this seed new plant are grow. Another process of reproduction is fertilization. So the fusion of male gamete and female gamete is called fertilization. After the fertilization, a single cell is produced by the help of male gamete and female gamete, and this single cell is called fertilized egg or zygote. Here our reproduction part is completed. So after the reproduction, the seed is formed. So now we are going to discuss about part of a seed. A seed mainly consists of three parts, that is baby plant, seed leaf and seed coat. Now we discuss briefly about the part of a seed. First is our seed coat. We have seen different type of seed, that is rice, maize, wheat, pea, beans. So every seed contains a cover which is thick and hard in nature. This hard and thick cover is called our seed coat. When we put a seed into water, what happens? It may start germination. So every seed contains either one or two seed leaves. These are called cotyledon. This seed have one cotyledon is called monocot, and those seed have two cotyledon is called dicot seed. In next figure we can see the example of monocotyledon and dicotyledon. In simple way we can say that when we put a seed in water, if it's germinate with single leaf, it is called monocotyledon, and it start with double seed, at that time we can say that this seed is dicotyledon. So example of dicotyledon are pea, beans, groundnut, etc. And the example of monocotyledon are rice, wheat, maize. All type of crops are example of monocotyledon. The last one is our embryo, or you can say the baby plant. So the embryo has a tiny root that is go downward, and it has a tiny shoot that is goes upward. The cotyledon provide food for the growing embryo and protect it. When the plant is grow, at that time the root is collect water and mineral from the soil, and the leaf make its own food by the help of photosynthesis. Next is our germination. So we can say that the growth of a baby plant in seed into seedling is called germination. A seed need right amount of water, air and warmth to germinate. You can test the process of germination in your home also. So now we are going to explain how to we test the germination in our home. From your kitchen, collect some amount of good quality of mung seed. Take 3 glass. In first glass, you have to pour seed, water and put it on sunlight. In second glass, you have to put seed and put it on sunlight, but you have to don't put water. In glass 3, you have to put water as well as seed, but you have to keep inside the fridge. From the observation, what we see? Only germination is take place in glass 1, because here seed can find water as well as sunlight. But in second glass, it only finds sunlight, but there is no water. And in glass 3, it find water, but there is no sunlight, that is less temperature. That's why in glass 3 also no germination occur. So we can conclude that for the process of germination, a seed required a good amount of water, sunlight and air. Here we can see in both the 3 cases air is available, but in second case there is no water, and in third case there is no temperature. So we can say that when the seed get water, air and warmth in suitable amount, at that time the seed start to take water through the seed coat and it start to swell up. When the seed is swell up, at that time the seed coat is break and it start germination. When the germination start, at that time the young root goes downward and the shoot goes upward. In this figure, you can see how this seed coat is break at the time of germination. The baby plant use the food stored in the cotyledon. The root start taking water and minerals from the soil. When the green leaf grown, at that time it gets the sunlight and they begin to make their food by the help of photosynthesis. Next is our dispersal of seed. If we put a number of seed at the same place, what happens? The baby plant cannot grow properly. That's why the plant seed require dispersal. So what is dispersal? The scattering of seed of fruit away from the parent plant is called dispersal. This dispersal occur in different way. That is by the help of air, wind, animal or bird. So those who are help in the dispersal, they are called agent of dispersal. In this figure, I will show you some agent of dispersal which is help in dispersal of seed. In first case, the air is agent of dispersal. In second case, the squirrel. In third case, the structure of seed is help in dispersal of seed by the help of animal or human. And the fourth one is bird. Now we are going to briefly discuss about the agent of dispersal. First agent is our water. Here the seed is carried away from the parent plant by the help of water. The fruit like coconut and lotus are float on water. So they are float away from the parent plant. This is called our dispersal by water. The next one is our dispersal by animal. Here seed is carried away from the parent plant by the help of animal. Here the special structure of seed helps the seed to transfer away from the parent plant. Here the seed contain hook, spine or stiff hair type structure which automatically stick with the body of the animal and go away from the parent plant. Here I have collected some example for you from the internet. Here you can see the structure of seed which is transferred by the help of animal. The next one is dispersal by air. Here seed are carried away from the parent plant by the help of wind. Here small wing and hair present on the seed which help the seed to fly freely in the sky. These fine hair are acts as parachute for the seed. You have already seen a lots of example where seed are dispersal by air. In this figure, you can see how the air help in dispersal. The last one is dispersal by explosion. The fruit of some plant such as pea, balsam explode when they are dry. This explosion scatters the seed away from the parent plant. This is called dispersal by explosion. Next is our vegetative reproduction. We have seen a lot of plants like money plant or China rose, mogra. They cannot produce their seed. In this case, the new plant is generated from its parent plant such as root, stem or leaf. This type of reproduction is called vegetative reproduction. First we discuss about reproduction by a root, in which plant the new sapling is produced from the root of parent plant, that is called reproduction by root. The plant like potato and sweet potato, the new plant is grown from the root of the plant. So this is called reproduction by root. Next is our stem reproduction, in which plant new sapling is produced from the stem of the parent plant. At the time it is called reproduction by stem. We have seen hibiscus, rose, potato, garlic, etc. are the example of stem reproduction. Here one thing we observe that the potato is both stem reproduction as well as root reproduction. The last one is reproduction by leaf, in which plant new sapling is produced from the leaf of the parent plant is called reproduction by leaf. The only plant that is bryophyllum only can produce the new plant from its leaves. Here our pollination and plant reproduction chapter is over. If any doubt or suggestion, write on comment box. I will assure you I will try to answer all of your question, and I will accept all of your suggestion and try to improve my video. Again I request you, those who are new in my channel, please press the subscribe button and press the bell icon for new educational video notification. Thank you.